Hey, it's Angie Coley, and today I wanted to talk about your action plan. So when you're starting or growing a business, it's really easy to get stuck in this kind of infinite loop where you're planning and you make a backup plan and a backup plan to the backup plan and a backup to the backup plan, and like you imagine every potential scenario and you don't feel really comfortable moving forward until you've identified all potential pitfalls and come up with a solution for all of them. Baby doll, if this is you, first of all, I totally identify because I have been stuck in that trap before. Second of all, take it from the other side. 80 to 90% of those scenarios that you imagine happening will never come to pass. On the other hand, a bunch of shit that you never ever planned for and didn't even know was possible will actually happen, thus rendering all of your careful pre-planning complete and utter waste of time. That's not to say that planning is a waste of time, because you absolutely should make a plan instead of flying by the seat of your pants. After all, if you have no idea where you're going, any road will get you there. You need to have some sort of destination, some sort of vision in mind in order to actually get close to where you're going. But don't get stuck in the planning. One of my mentors was fond of saying that no battle plan survives contact with the enemy. And I don't necessarily like comparing business to battle, because I don't think that it's a fight other than, the mental fight to keep going, keep yourself psyched up, survive the challenges, so to speak. But the point of that in regards to business is that no matter how carefully you plan, when you put your plan into action, it's going to meet other people. And you may have heard me say before, human's gonna human. They're going to be unpredictable. They're not going to act in the way that you thought that they would. They're not going to respond the way that you thought they might. And you might have to pivot on the fly. So putting a plan together is an amazing exercise. It will help you get closer to your goal. And then once you put the plan into action, you have to be willing to pivot on the fly, adjust, see how things change and roll with it, versus rigidly like, nope, I put in the work on the plan and this is the plan and the thing that we must do. Don't, as I'm fond of saying, like, is this the hill that you want to die on? If things don't go exactly according to plan, this is not the hill to die on. Just be flexible and roll with it. Trust me, that's going to be a lot more fun and a lot more productive than insisting things have to go your way. Because, newsflash, we can't control the universe and we can't control other people. All you can do is put forth a plan and try. So to that end, when you're stuck in that planning loop, how do you break it? Because it's really hard to even see that you're in it when it feels really good to make these plans and feel like you're fully prepared, but you're not actually doing anything. So I would say, if you've gotten to the end of the planning and it's time for you to take a step and suddenly it occurs to you like, well, what if this happens? That's one sign that you're stuck in a loop that needs to be broken. If you look up and realize that suddenly it's been 6 months since you've been planning for your business and you haven't made actual sales or revenue, you might be stuck in a trap or a loop. Yeah, those are the two big ones that I would say indicate that you're stuck in this over planning trap and this can lead to a bunch of other things that entrepreneurs are susceptible to, including analysis paralysis, where there are too many options to choose from, so it feels like you can't choose anything, because if you choose the wrong one, everything's going to fall apart. No, if you choose the wrong one, you're going to find out fairly quickly, and then you might have the opportunity to choose the right one. That's kind of the way it works. So analysis paralysis is one of them. Shiny object syndrome is closely tied to this tendency to overplan too, and that's where feeling like you're not quite ready, and then like maybe one more course or one more networking group or one more thing will help you feel ready to take action. Another newsflash, you're never gonna feel ready. Ready is just really not a thing that you feel in entrepreneurship. There's like ready as you can be. They're reasonably certain that this will go well, but that's about as ready as you're going to be, and I want to prepare you for that. So to get out of that overplanning loop, analysis paralysis, and shiny object syndrome, the best way forward is action. Taking action will give you way more info than studying forever and preparing forever will. And the reason is simple. Like, once you take a step forward, you start to see the actual steps in front of you instead of all of the potential steps that ever existed. So it narrows your focus, it gives you fewer options, and it gives you some easy choices to make. I mean, they're not necessarily going to be easy, but it's a hell of a lot easier than trying to narrow it down from a million potential choices if you've only got 3 that are visible in front of you based on where you're standing. So take action. Take a step forward, even if you're not sure if it's the right one, because that's going to show you where you need to go next to get closer to that ultimate end goal. There's going to be some twists and turns on this path, but trust that GPS. You set up that GPS to take you to the end goal, so even if it has to route you around some traffic, we're going to get there. And action... How do I say this? It's scary to take action because you don't know what's going to happen. And when you don't know what's going to happen, you default to this safety mode of planning, of analysis, of shiny object syndrome. I get it. We've all been there. But what I really want you to take away from all of this is maybe if you just change that mindset a tiny little bit. Instead of everything's going to fail if this thing fails, if I'm a failure, life is over as we know it. That's not true. And maybe you could treat this like an experiment versus this has to work. What if I tried to do a direct mail campaign this month? I wonder what would happen. If it becomes a little bit more of a curiosity than if I send out a direct mail campaign this month, I need it to make blah, 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 otherwise it's not worth the time and money investment. Can you see how those just feel different in terms of your mental energy and your attachment to the outcome? And that's really kind of the crux of what I'm getting at here, is when we feel really anxious, we're overly attached to the outcome. Like, we really feel like we need a specific thing to happen a specific way in order to feel good. That's not necessarily true. All you can control, though, in this equation is the actions that you take and the reactions that you have to what happens. You can't actually control the outcome, which means when you're attached to that outcome, you're already setting yourself up for potential disappointment, because that's... If I could wave a magic wand and make all of you be successful business owners, if I could wave a magic wand and make myself be Oprah's favorite thing and be out there on stage doing killer TED Talks, we would all be rolling in it and rich, and then there would be other problems to solve. Welcome to life, my friend. Once this problem solves, once this finish line is crossed, there is another one. You don't ever cross the finish line into happy lands. So, might as well have fun along the way. Treat it like an experiment. I wonder what would happen if. I'm curious to try this and see what happens. Take that action. Get yourself out of analysis and overwhelm and perfectionistic planning, and get moving. Get your ass in gear. So that's what I have for you this week. I'm Angie Coley, and let's go kick some ass.